Hey there. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most useful and, let's be honest, sometimes confusing words in the English language would. But by the end of this, you're not going to see it as a problem anymore. You'll see it as a powerful tool. So, let's get right into it.
All right, just look at this sentence for a second. She said she would go if she would have known earlier. It kind of sounds a little clunky, doesn't it? Maybe even wrong? Well, sentences just like this are exactly why would can be so tricky. But don't you worry, we are about to make this crystal clear.
So, here's the best way to think about would. Picture it like a master key. It's not just one simple key for one lock, it's a special key that can open several different doors of meaning. And today, we're going to forge the three most important keys you need for your keychain. Let's start with our very first one, the what if key. This is your absolute go-to for talking about anything hypothetical, conditional, or, just plain imaginary. What this key really does is connect an imaginary cause with an imaginary result. You're basically setting up a scenario that isn't real, and then you're exploring what could happen because of it. And you can see how perfectly this works, right? The if part creates the fantasy. If I had more money. And then the would part delivers the result of that fantasy. I would travel the world. They're like a perfect team working together. Let's run through a couple more just to see it in action. He would be happier if he changed jobs. That's an imagined result of an imagined choice. Or how about when you ask, would you mind if I open the window? That's a hypothetical question about something you might do right now. In every single one of these, would is tied to that if condition, creating that imaginary link. Okay, key number 2. This one's kind of like a time machine for your language. It lets you jump back and talk about old habits and routines from the past. We call it the way back when key. You're going to use this key whenever you're telling stories or feeling a little nostalgic. It's not for a single thing that happened just once, but for repeated actions, for things that used to be a regular part of your life. It's like you're painting a picture of how things used to be. You can almost feel the nostalgia in these, can't you? Every summer, we would go to the beach. My grandmother would bake cookies on Sundays. Notice how these aren't one-time events. They're repeated, cherished memories from a time that's passed. And now, on to our third and final key. And trust me, this is one you will use every single day. The polite key. This is your secret weapon for sounding courteous, friendly, and just plain respectful in your conversations. And you might be wondering, why is this so important? Well, because language isn't just about, getting information across. It's about connecting with people. Using would is like adding a please and a smile right into your sentence. It just softens the edges and makes everything go a little smoother. Okay, so for example, you could say this: I want a cup of tea. Now, is it grammatically correct? Yeah, for sure. But depending on how you say it, it can sound a little blunt, almost like an order. But watch what happens when we just pop would in there. Boom. The whole feeling of the sentence transforms. I would like a cup of tea is no longer a demand, it's a polite, gentle request. It makes a world of difference. And here's the cool part. It's not just for asking for things you want. You can use it to make polite requests of other people, to make offers, and even to state your opinion in a way that feels less aggressive and more collaborative. I would think sounds so much softer than I think. All right, so we've got our three keys. Let's get them all on one handy keychain so you have them ready to go whenever you need them.
And here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. You've got the what if key for those imaginary situations, the way back when key for past habits, and the polite key for requests and offers. These three keys right here are going to unlock the vast majority of situations where you'll need to use would. Okay, so you've got the keys. You know what they do. Are you ready to try them out? Let's do a quick quiz to see if you can pick the right one for the right lock. Okay, first up, when he lived in the city, he would take the train every day. Is he imagining it? No. Is he being polite? Not really. He's talking about something he used to do, right? A regular habit. That's our way back when key. What about this one? Would you like to join us for dinner? This is a classic, isn't it? It's an offer, but it's made to sound less direct, more inviting and friendly. That is a perfect use of the polite key. All right, last one. She would buy that car if she could afford it. Did you spot the clue? That little word if is a dead giveaway. This is an imagined situation, a condition, which means we are absolutely using the what if key. So there you have it. See? Wood isn't this big, scary monster after all. It's a master key, a really useful one that opens up all these different doors to sounding more natural, more polite, and more, well, more like you. So the real question is, now that you've got the keys, what conversations are you going to unlock?